Okay, now, can somebody tell me what's the reason that we basically even have position holders? Anybody? Yes, sir? To complete the HR paperwork. Okay, that's good. Anything else? Yes, sir? I'm sorry? Not enough leaders. Okay, all right. Those that ask questions, make sure that they get the card. All right, let's just to keep. I'm sorry? Okay, I think the lady with the speakers. I'm going to wait till the microphone gets to you.
Functional roles.
I'm sorry?
They're promoted to fill a vacancy.
Right. That's similar to what the gentleman earlier said, HR deal. You're correct. Thank you. There was a couple of hands here.
I think there's an assumption that, like you said earlier, if you're good at something that you do, that you'll be a great leader. And the other thing is, I think maybe we don't know how to identify good leaders.
Thank you. We get to that a little bit later. You are absolutely correct.
Lack of leadership above, and they're promoting lack of leadership below.
Thank you. They're most of the time hired by another position holder. And I'll give you an example in a minute. Why? Because they don't know any better. If you're a position holder, you're in the position and you don't have the skill, you don't have the knowledge, how can you find somebody really? I know this is funny to you sometimes, but a lot of people, they don't know what they don't know. And if you're a position holder yourself, you cannot find a person that is qualified for something you have no knowledge of. So they most of the time hired by another position holder. They hire another position holder because they know they're not going to challenge them. You know, they're on the same level. Because they get intimidated by somebody that knows more than them. Because they know they're standing on the shaky ground. Now, they make a perfect scapegoat. And you think about it. If you're up there and you know your position holder, right? And you know sooner or later, you get to the end of the rope, right? And the money is good, the title is good, and you got used to doing nothing and getting paid for it very nicely. So you want to have a scapegoat. So you have two options. Either you hire another position holder, or you hire a poor soul consultant. Because that's what a lot of times they hire us. But the third one is, that's where a lot of you refer to it. It reflects that company's maturity level. And I got to tell you, and I'm not trying to advertise, but on my first book, Set for Success, I talk a lot about organization's maturity. Actually, I've done a 3-year research that I used somebody else's research, some other companies in the East Coast, that they had interviewed for 10 years, 1,500 or so project manager, practitioners, CEOs of the companies that they were very strong with the project management, and so on. And I even published a questionnaire. And I took the data and took the name of those companies out just so. And I analyzed it. And I proved it for the first time. I know nobody done it before. For the first time, I proved it that there is a direct correlation between the organizations with a high maturity level and project management success rate. You can be the goddess of the project management. If your organization has a low maturity level, you're going through hell. I've been there. And it's not fun. And I'm used to it, but it wasn't fun. So I'm telling you that when the organization maturity is low, it's a whole different ball game. And in that book, I even identify how you can identify organization's maturity and what you can do without really destroying your relationship. Because a lot of times, you're not going to go tell people, you are low maturity level. But it's good for you to know, because that way you can fine-tune your work with that company or with that organization or with that group. I used to work in a company that, it was a huge company. I worked for a bunch of companies, but this particular one, we were really big in project management way back before, PMI came. And it was funny, you would go to one department, and the department was huge. Each department was like a couple of thousand people. You would go to one department, and they would eat, breathe project management. I mean, everything they did from the small project to major project everything was done according to project management. And you would go to different department, they would laugh at you. You want me to do what? I'm serious. I mean, and if you had a cross-departmental project, you would go like a major piece of your project that you would take, say, 3 months or 4 months. It would go to this mature organization or department, like this, with very little pain, extreme cooperation, and then the one that it was just a small piece of the project, for the love of God, it would take like a week. They would slow you down for months. And at the end, if you wanted anybody, you know how they would assign somebody? You say you want somebody to be assigned to your project. What they do? They say, okay, give these people 3 people. I got tired of getting chewed out by my boss. Give them 3 people that they don't know anything and they can't do anything and they're no good. So just give it to them. Just shut them up. They want 3 people, give them 3 people. So what are you going to do with those 3 people? It's because if indeed that organization's maturity level was higher, they would give you the 3 of best people because they knew how that would benefit them. So it reflects the organizational maturity.